Hello and happy day, stretch and flexibility. So make sure you have a couple bolsters and towels and cushions. And then we're starting on our back with cushions or bolsters or maybe a rolled up beach towel. The idea with this is to have it vertical or in alignment with our spine, because it's like we're almost like we're hanging over a log. And then that, as you open your arms, that is opening up your chest muscles, your collarbones, the throat. And then your feet can be grounded with the knees up, or some people like to extend the knees long and kind of just open up through the belly and the hips. Close the eyes, just take a few moments, bringing awareness to the breath. So let's pick one quality of the breath, whether it's the way it feels as the body moves or the way it sounds. Pick one quality and just witness it. And then notice that as you start to pay attention to the breath, whether if the way it brushes up against your nostrils, or whether it's the way it feels every time your belly rises and your belly drops. Just the act of paying attention to it helps you slow it down a little bit. And the goal is to allow the breath to be slower and longer each time. And we're going to take another 3 to 5 breaths. Okay, that all depends on you and the depth of your breath. And then the idea is now we're going to add a pause. So when you get to the top of your inhale, where you can't breathe in anymore, you're going to hold or pause the breath for about a count of 5. And then when you exhale and you get to the bottom of the breath, you're going to stay completely empty to the count of 5. Finish this next breath. Nice. And then go ahead and bring your arms close to you so that you can just roll off of whatever you're on, bolster, towel, blanket. Just leave it off to your side or off in front of you. And then let's revisit being on our back with no props now. Okay. So now when you come back to your back with no props, it feels kind of interesting and neat. Pull the knees into the chest as you cup your hands over your knees, and then just create mobility in the hips. Seems like a very simple movement, and it kind of is simple, but it could be limiting to you. So your idea is to breathe with it and create nice deep circles, bringing awareness to the hips and the low back. And then reverse the hip rotations, right? Nice. The next time the knees come in, grab the back of the thighs and then start to extend one leg and bring it down, and then the other leg and bring it down. We're just bringing awareness and mobility to the joints. We started out with the hip joint. Now we're getting into the knees. Good. Now get both knees to extend at the same time. And when you get to the top, rotate through the ankle joints. And move your toes as you do it. At any point, if this is too much with both legs up, you can always do it with one leg up. Okay, so you can modify each and everything we do so it suits you. And actually, it is helpful because when somebody does something a little different, then it gives permission to other people to see that there's a lot of options with everything. Okay, now feet together, knees together, bend them. Right hand over the left knee. Take your inhale. And then as you exhale, left arm reaches to the left and the knees just recline to the right. And like with everything else, explore. Do you want to bring your knees further up? Or do you want to bring them further down? Everybody's different. And then I like to point my nose in opposition to the knees. So I look to the left as my knees point to the right so I can get a stretch. My lumbar, thoracic, and cervical spine. Good. Come back to center with the knees. Neutralize the neck. Inhale. Left hand to the knee, right knee. Exhale, legs all the way to the other side. Point your nose to the right if you want. I'm kind of inviting a nice open chest, which is really beneficial for your posture. Stretching through the core, which is really beneficial for your posture and life. Okay, so now keep your hands facing down, and we're going to just move the legs from where we were to where we were before. So where we are to where we were. Just rock and roll the legs, side to side. Little mobility of the back, right? So we were into the spine now, into all aspects of the spine. Good. And then if you want, you can actually stretch the legs out. Watch for your neighbor. You might land on their face, but that's okay. It's like family here. Boom. Foot to the face pose. Good. The next time the legs come up, bring the feet flat. Separate the feet as wide as the mat. You don't have to look. You just kind of feel. And now, just like we did before, we drape the knees to the right. Drape them again to the right with the feet apart and notice the difference here. So this is giving you a pretty intense stretch in the hip. If you want more, pick up your right foot and rest it over the left thigh and you'll get even more. So then you get not just the weight of gravity, but the weight of your opposite foot. I like to bring my arms over my head for this. You could decide if that feels good to you or you prefer over to your side. Take a deep inhale. Let's open the mouth this time and open it and then exhale out of the mouth. Good. Bring the knees to center. Continue breathing in and out through the nose and then drape your knees to the left. Stay or weigh that right leg down with the left leg. Good. If you have that leg weighted down, go ahead and unweigh the leg by removing the foot from it. We're all going to roll to the left. And we're going to come all the way up. And then sit facing forward on your mat. Keep the feet apart and windshield wipe the knees side to side. So now we're windshield wiping knees from a from a seated position. You can bring your mat closer to me if you want, if you're too close to the wall. I don't bite very hard. There. Yeah, there. Good. Okay. So take your inhale here. Now, as you exhale, you can keep the knees bent or you can extend the knees. It's up to you. See if you want to walk your hands back. And notice the amount of flexibility and tension that happens with your wrists and the forearms. Those of you that are in the computer a lot, this is a great stretch. Good. Upright your little torso, crisscross your legs. And then when you crisscross them, make sure that you can look that your ankles are kind of aligned. And now take your hands, bring the back of the hands facing each other and swivel them. We're doing the opposite of what we just did. Now, this position seems like a very simple position, crisscross applesauce. This is hard, especially for men, tight hips. So if it's hard, bring your hands down. If it's hard, just make an adjustment. Maybe your front leg has to be further out in front of you. Just find your little spot and be okay with it. And then we're going to start to create what we call the stir the pot movement. So it's like you're stirring the pot with your torso. Creating mobility in the lower back, the hips. And then move really slow. And sometimes I like to close my eyes and I move with my breath, right? So anytime I'm in an open spot, like I'm leaning back, I inhale. And then anytime my torso is constricted, I exhale. So it gives me more space to move forward. You can use your hands to help you navigate the rotations too. So the next time you rotate, take your next inhale and then rotate in the opposite direction as you exhale. It's almost like marinating the steak. We're kind of marinating those little hips. Good. Let's do one more rotation. And then we will upright the torso nice and tall. Inhale, take your position of your legs and just switch them. So now the opposite ankle's in front. Okay. Take your right arm up. You can look up at your hand, believe it or not, it stretches out your neck. And then make a fist and roll through the wrist. I actually, in this position, believe it or not, I create space in my left hip by taking my left elbow and pushing, pressing, or encouraging my left hip down. Good. So open and close the hand, maybe snap the fingers. And then take your inhale. And then on the exhale, right ear towards the right shoulder. Good. Release it. Second side. Again, I grab on and then I encourage my right elbow down. So reach my left arm up. Make your fists. Roll the wrists. Open, close the fingers. Snap the fingers. And then it'll be the left ear towards the left shoulder when you're ready. Good. Please release it. Take your legs and extend them for a moment. Make little fists with your hands and just tap your thighs. Don't ever tap the joints. So tap your thighs, the top of your thighs. Maybe bend the knees, tap the back of the thighs, the lower legs. And then when you're ready, coming into what we call child's pose, okay? Grab your blocks. Now that we worked a lot from the waist down, now let's start to create space from the waist up as well, okay? So take your blocks tall at their tallest setting, and then place them about shoulder distance apart, maybe a little wider, and see if you can put your elbows on them, okay? The knees are wide, the toes come together, and you're gonna try to shift back while your elbows are on the blocks. And then you're gonna see if you can get your hands to interlace. You gaze down towards the mat, you can close your eyes, but the whole idea here is creating space through your side torso and the shoulders and the shoulder joint, right? So really, we're trying to go towards elbows on blocks, ears alongside the arms. Remember, your friend is your breath is kind of like your friend, and believe it or not, your metronome. So what we work with is the breath. While you're here, find your breath. And if you think, oh my gosh, I can't even breathe because I am so uncomfortable, then that's your cue to come out of the pose a little bit. Maybe don't drop down into the hips as much. Lift your hips a little bit. You definitely don't want to hold your breath. You're going to try to always fish for it, find it, and trace it. And it's your guide throughout the hour. Good. Can you take 2 more inhales and exhales here? Nice. Please release. Move the blocks off to the side just for a moment. We're going to come back to that pose, but we're going to go deeper in a second, okay? Let's get you off the knees. So onto the belly. Stretch out your legs. Actually, curl the toes and lift your knees off the mat. It'll give it a nice little stretch. And then take all 10 toenails and press them against the mat as best as you can. Take your hands first outside of the mat on your fingertips with your elbows pointing up. Keep your head down, like your forehead down. And then as you inhale, start to lift your forehead, maybe your collarbones, maybe your belly, maybe your chest. It's totally personal. And then as you exhale, you come right back down. Now it is easier if you use your hands to help you up. It is more involving if you're really just using the head and the torso. So you almost want to balance of both. Good. Exhale. Let's do one more cobra like this with these funky little fingers and hands. And then as you exhale, please release, slide the hands in, press back into child pose. So we repeat it, and now your body remembers a little bit what it felt like. Now we're going to go deeper into it. So blocks under elbows, knees wide, toes together, hands together, shift back to your degree. From here, we're going to see if we can reach for opposite wrists, forearms, or elbows. And we're almost creating like a little box, and our head will go through the box. Yes, that's it. So while you're here, you're stretching through the tops of the feet. You're stretching through your knees, your quads, your glutes, torso, shoulders, and even the neck. So then remember, if it feels like, ooh, I'm holding my breath a little too much, then just maybe do a little less. And it's like anything, the more we do this, the more we practice it, the easier it will get. 3 to 4 more breaths while you're here. Good. Take one more big inhale. And you exhale, come slowly out of this posture. Blocks to the side. Curl the toes under and see if you can sit back on your heels. And when you look at your toes, you kind of separate your toes from each other. You're kind of sitting on your heels a little bit. Not easy to do. This is stretching through the soles of the feet. All right. You can run your little knuckles down through the sole of the feet. You might do this and you might be like, oh, so you can come out and then come back. And then some people can't sit on it because it's too much. So you might say, okay, I can't sit, but I'm going to try to tuck a little bit and stay standing on my knees, right? But little by little, eventually the idea is you try to sit on your heels. Okay, roll the shoulders up, 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 and then back. See if you can reach the arms back. Some of you can actually interlace the hands, reach them back, and give it a little stretch. And the only reason why I'm having you do this is so you forget about your feet. Good. Come out of your feet or off your feet, release your hands, come into tabletop and take the feet and tap them. Good. Now grab your little blocks and place them about shoulder width apart. And come into tabletop. Knees under hips, pretty much. Toes tucked under. Take your inhale, press into your blocks, hug the belly in. So you almost have to cat the back. And then as you exhale, try to lift your knees, but keep them bent as you shift back into down dog. Good. So bending the knees, maybe even separating the feet wider if you're feeling stiff. And then by bending the knees, you're giving your back a bigger stretch. Good. Just get a feel for what this is for a few moments, and then we're going to come out of it and back into it a few times. Okay. Keep your ears as aligned with your arms as you can. So the best way to do that is look back towards your feet at all times. At all times, we look at the feet. Lift the heels high, look at them. Inhale, drop the knees to the floor. Untuck the toes and sit on your heels with untucked toes now. Exhale. Good. Roll the wrists, because that's a wrist doozy. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little visual and I'm going to go sideways so you can see it online. Okay, when you do down dog, okay, and you're here, keep the knees bent so that your arms align with your ears and you look back. If your knees are straight and your arms are not aligned with your ears, you're stretching like this, and this you can't sustain as much. So you're better off knees a little soft, shift the weight back, and then little by little, you'll drop the heels, right? That comes with practice. So let's go back with the blocks again. Oh, I broke a sweat just by teaching you that. Inhale, curl the toes. Exhale, find your version of down dog. And then now we're going to do something called walk the dog. So bend the right knee as the left knee stretches all the way. And then switch. Yeah, do that a few times. Walk the dog. Take your inhale. Both heels lift at the same time. Exhale. Come down and you pick how you want to sit. You can sit however you wish. Take your hands, interlace them, and then roll through your wrists a little bit. You don't have to bring them as high as I'm bringing them. I'm just bringing them high so you guys can see me in the back. Good. Wiggle the fingers. Roll through the wrists. Okay, we're going to move from down dog this time through some other postures. We want to have the bolster handy, okay? So make sure that if you're home and you have a cushion or blanket or whatever, have it handy, okay? Take your down dog now. Just try it this time with no blocks so that you can get a difference and see what you like best, okay? So no blocks. Plant the little palms, lift knees, find your down dog. Good. Now see if you can find your breath and you can calm the breath. Gazing back. Taking an inhale, lifting the heels high. And then as you exhale, let's drop the left knee to the floor, look forward, and take the right foot and step it to the front of the mat. Okay, grab your bolster or your blanket and bring your knee on it. Nice little stretch for the hip, the psoas, all that stuff. So this is a little wonky and wobbly. Walk your right foot to the right a little bit so that you have more stability. And then you can bring your hands to your waist or the thigh and shift forward and back a little bit. And they should feel good on your knee. Good. The next time you shift forward, don't be shy to lean into it, lean forward. You can keep your hands on your thigh. Okay, this next stretch is a really complex stretch. It involves a lot of muscles and it's not easy to do, but it is so good for you. So here's what you do. You take your left arm and you reach it up and then towards the right. And if you are able to bring your forearm to the right thigh, you can. Or if you want to bring a hand or a block to the right, you can go even further. This is a great stretch for an athlete or somebody like when you cycle or anything like that. If there's one stretch that you can work with after the cycling, is something like this so that you can get that nice stretch going. Good. Come back. Grab the 2 blocks. Curl the left toes under and work your right leg straight. And the reason why we have the blocks is so that we avoid a rounded back. You want to lengthen your back. You want to look forward. And then you want to encourage the right hip back and the left hip forward. So you don't want the right hip to go to the right. Just encourage it back. It's all about squaring your pelvis. That gives the integrity of your back to stay strong because a lot of times we overdo it on certain stretches and then over time it wears the joint. So squaring the pelvis, regardless of what you're doing, will help your joint. Nice. Take your rock forward on the inhale. Let's take the block out, the bolster out of the way. Walk your right foot to the right. I'm gonna keep the hand on the block. You don't have to have it on the block. And then we're gonna twist from here. So I'm twisting with my knee up. And then in a moment, I'm gonna give you the option to bring your knee back down, either on a towel or that bolster again, or nothing. So here, drop the knee. See if it feels good for you to put a little cushion under it. And then watch what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take my right foot and I'm gonna turn it out like Mary Poppins, like out, external rotation of the foot. And then I'm gonna take my right arm and I'm gonna reach it back as far as I can go. Yeah, so you're just getting as mobile as you can. So now Ed, put your hand over the block, the left hand. Yes, and bring it in a little bit so that you'll see you'll be able to twist even further just because you have your hand over the block. Okay, from here, look towards me for a moment. You can stay and just hang, or some of you can roll onto the top part of that left knee and grab the foot. And if you grab the foot, it is intense, the stretch. So you might not be ready for it. If you feel like I can't grab the foot, here's a tip. To grab the foot, bring your bum back, then try to grab the foot and then come forward. And if it hurts, yeah. So then it's not for you. That's okay. That's okay. You stay in the previous. The good thing is this won't last long. Don't overdo it. Release the foot if you had it. Everybody take a break. Come on to the belly. Crocodile pose. Stack your hands one over the other and then bring your forehead right over those hands. It seems simple, but it's a lot of work because you're holding all of these postures statically. And, you know, we're tight from our daily patterns. Okay, so let's change directions before we do side B. Take your right arm, reach it towards your neighbor on the right. So the right arm reaches out in alignment with the shoulder. Take your left leg and bend it, and then press and roll onto the right side of your body, right? So now take your right arm towards Jan behind you. Yeah, so come onto the tummy, to the belly. Yeah, come onto the belly and then take your right arm towards Jan. No, just flat like that. Okay. And then roll to the right. Yes, that's it. And then this is really helpful. If you do this and you put a block under your face or under your head, it'll be helpful. So try that. A block under your head is helpful. See how Jan has it? Yes. You feel that openness in your shoulders, mobility. Yeah, this is really, really good for you. The more mobility you get on that torso, the better the rotation. So your left knee can point up. Eventually, the more we do this, the more you'll notice that you can rotate more and more. Good. Nice deep breaths. Your left hand can be right in front of you, or it could be on your side, or it can be behind you. You're really encouraging your belly button to point up towards the ceiling. Yes, there you have it. Yep, that's it. Now bring the ball of the left foot down and point the knee up. That's it. Yep. Keep opening up. You're pretty flexible. Good. Take another 2 to 3 breaths here. Back to the belly. Ready? All the way down. Send your left arm towards your left. Bend your right leg. Sometimes you have to shimmy yourself sideways on the mat a little bit. And then roll towards the left. And remember, we want to move that belly button towards the ceiling. So maybe the right knee points up. Some people can't do that yet, so they can keep the knee down. Block underneath the head is very helpful because it gives you that space for the shoulder to stretch. And then remember, if you're finding that you're holding your breath, come out of the pose a little bit. Believe it or not, you're stretching all the way through the shoulder, down the arm, and even the hand, because it's facing down and open, is stretching. Nice. Take your inhale just as you are. Exhale fully. And then when you're ready, come right back to center. We're going to do 3 cobras, but instead of doing the cobras with the hands outside of the mat, we're going to do them with the hands right next to the chest. Again, forehead down, palms down, tops of the feet down. And then as you inhale, you're going to lift your forehead off the mat. Keep lengthening through the crown of the head. Press into your hands a little bit, and you can come up low, medium, or high. And then as you exhale, you're going to release all the way down. Good. So tune into the breath with it. Inhale, cobra. Exhale. One more. Inhale, cobra. Exhale. Shift back. Child's pose. Okay, bring your bolster close by, okay? Because we're going to do what we did, but now on the other side. So bring it to your right side. And let's find your down dog. And notice every time you come into down dog, it might feel just a little bit more doable. Keep your blocks handy. Bring your down dog in. Keep anchoring through the palms, especially the index and middle finger, index and thumb. So a lot of awareness to the medial aspect of the hands, the part of the thumb and index finger. And then you kind of want awareness on the balls of the feet. Good. Drop your right knee to the floor. Bring your left foot forward. And then if you want, grab your bolster and bring your knee and leg on your bolster. Keep your block handy. Okay, then shift back and forth a little bit. Yes, keep shifting a little bit back and forth. And then when you find your happy little spot, stay there for a little bit. If you're able to rest your forearm on the leg, you can do that. So what we do is we work in nuggets. We're right now just focusing on the right leg and doing all the opening on the right leg. Then you can start to inch your left foot out just so you have more stability. I'm going to bring my block off to the side just to have it there. And I'm going to start off bringing the right arm up, as close to aligning it with my ear as I can. And then I'm going to reach it over towards the left. And then if I want more, my left hand can come to the block and I can keep going. Good. Can come back in. Stay there as long as you want. You can use your other block if you want, and then shift back so that now you create length in that front leg. Remember, we're trying to encourage the left hip back and the right hip forward so that if you look at your hips, they're kind of neutral. Or not. You're doing great. Breathe into the whatever you're really sticky with. Like right now, the back of my left leg feels very, very stuck. So I breathe into the back of that leg. Bring energy to it. Good. Come back in. Keep your knee on the cushion or bring it off the cushion. On the last one, I took it off the cushion, but you know what? You could just decide what works for you. And then we're doing a lunge twist. So we're taking that left arm up and back, and then we're creating a twist. We've done a few twists on our back, but this twist is on our feet. So it gives us that great rotation. Yeah. And you can always walk your left foot more to the left. Just know what's happening with your breath. Okay, we can all drop the right knee on the mat or the cushion and then keep reaching back. And then this is where you can grab the foot if it's accessible to you. This is not an easy pose. It is not a beginner pose. I always feel like beginner is so, it's such a personal thing because some people are really comfortable doing certain things and not others because of the way we are built. So this could be easy for somebody and not for somebody else. For me, it was very challenging to get into this when I first started. Okay, release it. Press back into down dog. Okay. However you would like to get there. And then let's revisit walking the dog and then revisit kind of like the different points we talked about with down dog. You want to have the belly pull in, broaden your shoulders in down dog. Keep your knees a little soft so that your spine stays long. And then if you find that you are in a constant discomfort on your shoulders and your wrists because they're heavy, then bend the knees more and shift the weight back. The more back you shift the weight, the less tension you'll get in the upper body. Good. Now take an inhale, look towards your hands. And now take the right knee towards the right wrist. And then take the left leg and shimmy it back. Okay, coming into pigeon. And pigeon can be done with a blanket or a towel or a cushion under the right high knee. or not. You can also do pigeon with a soft leg in the back for a little variety. Or if your knee is funky and it doesn't feel right to do pigeon like that, you can always do pigeon like this. No weight bearing on this pigeon, right? So pigeon. Yes. So you make sure if you're doing the traditional pigeon, exactly, the back knee points down and then the toenails point down. So yes, that's it. And then what I like to add to pigeon is sometimes we hold ourselves up so much, we tense the shoulders. So put a couple blocks under your chest, build it up a little bit so that you're not holding yourself too much. Or since we're here, a bolster. So I'm going to put for you this little bolster here, and you're going to see if this feels good. Come on there. Yep. And you're really close to the bottom. So I think you're good. I don't know. Your knee bothers you? No. Oh, because of that. Mm-hmm. You can take your next inhale as you are and switch sides when you're ready. Remember your options. You bring your left knee towards the wrist and you come into this little pigeon. The back knee points down, the back toes point down. But if this doesn't feel good on your knee for some reason or your hip, you can always do this side like this. It's a more gentle approach to pigeon. It works on opening the hips. Mm-hmm. So maybe put a little block under your left glute, Ed, if you want to hold it up. You're comfy? Okay. And slowly coming up when you're ready. We sit up and we grab the strap, create a little loop on the strap, and I can show you the loop for those of you that have regular straps. And then we're just gonna lie on our back with a right straight leg and the arms, again, with that same alignment where you have the arms aligned with the ears and the strap is long over the head. Just a few couple closing postures. Yes, you got it. So now, perfect. Yeah. So now lengthen legs. So make sure the right knee is straight, all the way straight. Straighter than that. Straight knee. Straighten it all the way. And just breathe. Good. Straighten the knee all the way. Yes. Yeah, and you don't have to pull it that much. If it bothers you, you can pull it less. You can walk the hands further back. Good. Take a few breaths here, and then we're going to open the leg to the right using the right hand. Yes, that's it. And then go ahead and pull the leg back to center. And then to the other side. And then bring the leg back to center. And switch the strap. Second side. Breathe into lengthening the legs and the arms. And then you can open the leg to the left. And then bring the leg up and to the right. And bring the leg back to center. Inhale, and then take the leg out of the strap. Hug the knees into the chest for your final little hug here. Inhale, pulling the knees in tight. Exhale, relax, extend the legs, extend the arms. Close the eyes. You can cover your face with a towel if you wish. And then I'll come around if you're here at the studio with me with a little aromatherapy oil. So if you wish to have aromatherapy oil, I can put some on your hands, so you can take a Few moments to breathe it in. Just keep your hand facing up. Just rest well, and I'll guide you back. So the first one was oregano, believe it or not. The second one is lavender. So you've got a blend. Did I give you oregano? Mm-hmm. Okay. This is lavender. And start to bring the awareness back. Moving the breath. And then bringing movement to the fingers and the toes. Coming up to your comfortable seat when you're ready. And then once you sit, notice how you feel. And then after noticing how you actually feel now, bring into awareness how it is you want to feel the rest of the day. And then with that, let's attach a positive quality we want to add to our day today. Once you make a decision of what you want to add as a positive quality to your day, bring your hands together, thumbs to the heart. And as you take your next inhale, say, I am, and add whatever quality it is you want to bring into your day. And then when you're getting ready to take your next exhale, open your mouth and exhale out what no longer serves you. Namaste. Namaste. Namaste to everyone here and online. Thanks for joining. Thank you, thank you, thank you.